There's not words made for it yet. And that does not mean it is not truth. That does not mean it is not worthy. And that does not mean you are not correct in the way in which you feel. Welcome back to one's journey of unwinding the mind and, of course, your daily microdose. Now, tune in to the latest episode of One's Journey. Today, I'm going to talk about symbols and words, the things in which, in this ego illusion, we tend to need to have in order for something to be valid. The other day I was having a conversation with one of my clients, and we were talking about this journey and how the journey out of the illusion, so many of the concepts and feelings and thoughts are out of the illusion that there is no true symbols or words to explain it to others. So it's often frustrating, and often we get into this internal dialogue of conflict because we're in the process of untying the ego. This is dumb. This isn't worthy because there isn't words for me to explain it. I cannot intellectualize it. That is the biggest piece with getting out of the illusion and untying the ego is we often try to intellectualize it, and it is not something that is meant to be intellectualized. It cannot be intellectualized. The second you are trying to do that, you are trying to transform this feeling, this truth into the ego illusion, which was created so that we could escape from it. It completely makes sense that there is not that ability. So this is when we really have to stand in our truth and listen to our truth and really know that what you feel to be true is truth and it is okay. Think of the little kid that's on the ground at a grocery store or whatever, and they're screaming and crying, and their parents saying, "You have nothing to be upset about. Get up. This is not the end of the world. Like, don't worry about it." From an early age, we are taught to not listen to that inner voice, that unless we have an actual event, symbol, or words to express, then it is invalid. We are invalid and our feelings are invalid. This makes complete sense because the ego belief system doesn't want us to realize that we are coming from that belief system and to switch to the belief system of the Holy Spirit. So of course it's not going to create words or symbols for us to articulate and be able to get there. Because marketing 101 is if you can utilize words, get people to feel and understand what you are selling and how that impacts them, then you can sell anything. But if you don't have the ability to use words, aka symbols, to articulate to them something, then you won't sell anything. Again, the weight is on the words, when in fact, words are symbols twice removed. We've got truth, and then we came into this illusion, and then we created words to describe this illusion. Words are twice removed from the actual truth. Of course, walking into this place where people are just now being open to thoughts outside of this illusion, there's not words made for it yet. And that does not mean it is not truth. That does not mean it is not worthy. And that does not mean you are not correct in the way in which you feel. We often just get so frustrated when we're trying to have these conversations with others who don't understand because we don't have words. I literally a lot of times say, words cannot explain the way in which I feel today. And that's truth. Because again, why would we have words that it could explain this? It would be so easy to get there. And what we are seeking is not of the illusion, it is outside of the illusion. And even when we do get symbols, for example, Jesus, crucified Jesus, resurrected Jesus, we interpret it through the lens and then give it words based on the ego lens that we interpreted it through. So even when we have direct symbols, we still, by placing new symbols on it, which are words, misinterpret it or interpret it through the lens of the ego, and which is the brain. The brain is created by the ego. It is the decoding system for this illusion. I wanted to bring up symbols because I know for me it has been a struggle in my untying of the ego, because we want to intellectualize, and this is not something to be intellectualized. I caution you, when you feel yourself begin to intellectualize it, remind yourself how you feel within and what feels to be true. And just because you can't intellectualize it in this illusion does not mean it is not true. And I believe there will be words to explain this in the near future. But right now, this is at the forefront of understanding what is truly out there and what is truth. We are still discovering it on our own. And that's what Big Miracle Energy is for. It is to understand it in this illusion and figure out the journey to get there together. Thank you again so much for tuning in. This was a brief topic, but a very important topic. So please come share when you run into these issues of you wanting to intellectualize and how you're making it through that, and how you're reminding yourself to go back to truth and go back to the voice within you of the Holy Spirit that is telling you truth, that is guiding you. Again, as always, until next time, remember you are worth it. I love you tons.